Yo, what's up, guys? Happy New Year. Today, we're going to be talking about last year. We're going to be talking about some of my favorite albums from 2023. And specifically, we're going to be talking about the top 30, yes, 30 hip hop albums from 2023. I wanted to do 30, and I have honorable mentions as well, just because I have so much music that I just don't want to leave anybody out. And I also want you guys to be able to check out new music from my suggestions. So feel free to look up anything. Feel free to tell me, hey, I checked out that new Blase Blah, that nigga trash. You know what I'm saying? If that's how you feel, then so be it, man. I can't take your choice away from you. It's a free country. This year in general was it just wasn't 2022 in my opinion. I think 2023 as far as music was definitely just like I don't want to say underwhelming, but it wasn't a lot of big bangs and big splashes in the music industry. But the underground is always cooking. There was a lot of underground shit that I loved, and I pulled out a lot of stuff that I'll be listening to for years to come from this year. So I can never say that it was a bad year in music. If you're saying it's a bad year in music, you're just not digging deep enough, bro. You're just not digging deep enough. But here we're going to go straight into it. I'm going to start off with my honorable mentions. All right, so first on the honorable mention list, I'm just going to name them off. NLE Chopper's Cottonwood 2. I think that was a very sporadic, energetic trap album from the Memphis rapper. This thing is just filled front to back with a lot of fun bangers on here. And it had some great features on there as well, like Lil Wayne, Kevin Gates, Duke Deuce, Polo G. It was just a really good trap album. And I think it'll age pretty well, given that the production quality is just so good on here too. Next up, we got Jay Worthy with his 2 drops from this year. We got Nothing Bigger Than the Program, which is a collaboration with Rock Marciano on the production. And then we got The American Dream with Kamaya and Harry Fraud. Both of these joints were just very, very good tapes. I love the sample heavy energy on both of these joints. And I think that if you like the likes of Currency, Larry June, you'll probably fuck with Jay Worthy over here. Got another honorable mention over here with That Mexican OT with his mixtape Lone Star Luchador. And this was another fun one. Just some great energy straight out of Texas over here. I just love that new flow that he's giving on here. It sounds really fresh, vibrant. Also want to shout out Danny Brown's new album, Quaranta. Only reason it's on my honorable mentions is because it just came out not too long ago, so I really haven't had time to like really just dive deep with it and really kind of like just sit with it and see if I like it or not. I know that I like a good amount of tracks on here, but I just wasn't sure where I sat on the album. But I do think it's good enough, at least right now, to be on the honorable mentions list, and I think it'll probably go up a little higher over time. And lastly, I want to shout out the Lil Wayne and 2 Chainz album, Collie Grove 2. Man, did they exceed my expectations on here. I mean, they were this close to making it to my top 30, but I kind of forgot about the album, so I at least want to include it on here. Both of these guys were just fucking spitting. I think it's miles better than the first Collie Grove. And I just love the production choices that they chose on here. So yeah, check out these couple of albums. They're all really good. All right. Welcome to 30. Number 30 on the top hip-hop albums of 2023 is going to PG County, Maryland native IDK with his album F65. This album probably took more chances than he has on any of his other albums before. But I do love like just the quirkiness of this album, from tracks like Mr. Police, where he's doing a lot of singing, Georgetown, Elmina, Pinot Noir, which is more of like a dance hall Afrobeat type of track. And I think he just took a lot of chances on here, and I think that it came out with a pretty good result. There's a lot you can get on here. There's rapping, there's singing, there's storytelling, great instrumentation. Check out F65 from IDK. Number 29 on the list, we're coming in with Westside Gun. Do. Hey, yo! And Then You Pray For Me Man, this album, I'm not gonna lie, it definitely caught me off guard. I didn't expect as much trap influence that it was gonna have, but you know what I'm saying, with Westside Gunn, you can't really expect much. He's a guy that likes to kind of just do his own thing. He's very sporadic with his releases and his style. But I do think he hit a lot on here. Of course, my favorite tracks are still the boom bap, the grimy boom bap stuff that he usually does, like the Mama's Prime Time with JID and Conway, or Suicide and Selfridges, produced by Conductor. But I can still respect and appreciate some of the trap joints on here, like Ultra Gazelda with Denzel Curry, or even Dunhill with Rick Ross on it. A lot of these features on here, it's a lot to get from them as well. A lot of tracks on here too. So you're getting pretty much everything with the trap side and the grimy boom bap side on here as well. And I think Westside Gunn, he doesn't really have a miss in my opinion. I think he did what he had to do on here, and I like that he's trying new things. And hopefully we get some more great Westside Gunn. 28 on the list is going to V's Ganger. I was late on the V's train. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought that, you know, like, why is he giving this slow, super just laid back, like not caring, nonchalant delivery on every fucking track? But I don't know what happened. I was driving and it was just the right time at the right moment, and every single track on this bitch was hitting. And I'm not going to lie, I felt like that nigga. V's makes you feel like that nigga, you know what I'm saying? He's talking on here. He's got some of the slickest delivery. There's Detroit all over this fucking record. You can hear it in the way he talks, in the way the beats are influenced. Everything about this is just Detroit. And you got to love it, man. Shout out to V's for Ganger. Number 28 on the list is going to Static Selector with his album Round Trip. Static Selector's been putting out these compilation albums, just gathering a bunch of different hip-hop artists and kind of putting them all on his production. He's been doing this every couple of years, putting out an album like this. His last album, The Balancing Act, had a lot of great songs on there, and Round Trip is the same thing. This time, the songs teeter to a little more like emotional tinge to them, but the features on here just all give great performances. I love the Joey Badass track, the song with Ghostface Killer, Stove God Cooks, Benny the Butcher. You got Ransom, AZ on here, even Pasta Noose from De La Soul, and you even got newer younger artists like Red Veil and IDK and Logic. So there's a lot you can get from this album. Next up on the list, we got another Maryland rapper, straight out of Silver Spring, Junie, with his album Memento. Really like the vibe on this album. Just giving something pretty laid back, but still has that nice energy to it. Kind of got like that melodic trap vibe going on. I just love the cool energy to this. You know, something that you could vibe out to. If you like stuff from maybe like Playboi Carti or even V's, I think Junie will probably be a good suggestion for you to check out. Number 24 on the list, we got Young Nudy with Gumbo. Probably one of the most playable albums of 2023. I mean, we're talking about just effortless trap, literally. Like, Young Nudy is not writing down bars on this joint. He's just getting these beats and he's just letting his imagination take him to a trap wonderland. Nah, I really liked every track on here. I played it a bunch of times, and it's just a fun album. It doesn't take itself too seriously. If you're going in this looking for some Lupe Fiasco bars, just turn the other way. Young Nudy is not for that, man, but it's some great production on here. Great album. Next up, we got number 23 on the list, which is going to be Arm & Hammer with their new album, We Buy Diabetic Test Strips. Arm & Hammer consists of these two rappers, Elucid and Billy Woods, two pioneers in the abstract hip-hop and industrial hip-hop wave, and together they form just shit. But yeah, this album's fucking weird. It's chaotic, it's crazy, and it's hard to listen to at times, but when you're really in the mood for it, it fucking hits. I just love the brashness of these guys' voices and the things that they choose to say on the track. And I just love the creativity, just kind of bending what you're used to hearing. And it kind of challenged my ear a little bit because Arm & Hammer, I don't listen to them every day. I'm not a day one fan like some people, but I think listening to a lot of Billy Woods this year and diving into Elucid a little bit more this year kind of allowed me to prepare my ear for something like this. And I came out with thinking it is pretty fucking cool what they're doing on here. Number 22 on the list, we're going with Conway the Machine, another Griselda artist with his new album, Won't He Do It. Conway the Machine, 1/3 of Griselda, and at times he's my favorite artist from Griselda. I just love his confidence in his raps, his lyrical ability, his technicality that he uses, his flow choices, and he's just showcasing it all over the album. But one thing that he always is also able to bring is an emotional aspect to some of these tracks, being able to just convey certain emotions. And I think Won't He Do It achieves some of the same levels as his last album does, From a King to a God. While this one doesn't hit the mark quite as much as that album did, I still think this was a great album. I gave it a lot of listens, got a lot of spins from me. So yeah, I'm fucking with Conway the Machine. Number 21 has to be included on every single top albums of the year list that I do. We got Currency, and we got a combo choice here. Highway 600, Vices with Harry Fraud, and For Motivational Purposes Only, produced by Jermaine Dupri. All three of these things were just played so much throughout the year, with Highway 600 being the most recent. I think Currency just provides the backdrop to my life at most of the times. It's just something chill. It's not too harsh, but at the same time, when you listen to it, it's always a vibe, always something you can grab from it. And what more can I say, man? Currency, Jet Life. Number 20 on the list, we got Rome Streets. And we got another combo choice on here. I'm going with Wasn't Built in a Day and Noise Candy 5. Both of these things equally kind of just gave me what I needed this year, as far as like just that gritty, in your face, spit on your fucking face while I beat your ass music. Yeah, that's what Rome Streets gives you. He's not here to paint a pretty fucking picture or rap about love. You know what I'm saying? He's here to rap about coke, money, bitches, and how he's a better rapper than you. And he's here to do it over the grittiest boom bap beats there is in the fucking world. And I love it. He's just got that classic 90s era, but also like that mix of that new Griselda grittiness to him. And it just meshes so well. Just meshes so well with his voice. Yeah, Rome Streets, Wasn't Built in a Day, Noise Candy 5. Number 19, we got Wiki with Tony Seltzer on production, and the album is called 14K Figaro. I just love the eccentricity of the production on this album. Every track has its own personality to it, beat switches, and Wiki just raps with such a conviction, and he's able to like just display whatever he's trying to say in such a way that you kind of have to just listen to what he's talking about. And I love the poeticism. Is that a word? Poeticism. Fuck it. I love the poeticism that he uses, and just how he describes everyday things as well. I even love the topics that he chooses on here, because it's just not something that rappers are just talking about every day. Wiki is like just your everyday rapper, you know what I'm saying, at the bodega, you know what I'm saying, at the corner store. You'll see him just grabbing a quick sandwich or something, you know what I'm saying, but everybody knows that he's that guy. And that's the vibe that I get from him. Love this album, 14K Figaro. Definitely check this. Number 18 on the list, we're going with legend Nas, and we're going with his album Magic 3, entirely produced by Hit Boy. And one thing I love about this fucking album, man, it just shows you that like there's no age limit to this shit when you're really a GOAT. You know what I'm saying? And Nas is just sounding like he doesn't miss a step. He could have easily came out this year, and this could have been his first album, and we all would have been like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, it's still amazing, and it's just kind of like awe-inspiring to watch it happen. The music is great. The rapping is on par. The production is somehow upped its standard for every Magic and every King's Disease that they've put out. And yeah, man, this thing is like nothing short of greatness, bro. I love this joint. Got a lot of spins from it. Number 17 on the list is going to everybody's most hated rapper, Logic, with his album College Park. Another Maryland rapper. You're kind of noticing some consistencies here in my list. But yeah, Logic definitely dipped into his bag on this one and put out some great fucking music on here. I've always loved Logic's ode to like that 90s era boom bap shit when he puts it out, because he just does it so well. I love his take on the production and how it's influenced just by that 90s era. And I even love the trap joints that he did on this one as well. Now, the skits are still something that I can't get past. Those were very cringy, but when you put those aside, there's some great fucking music in here. And I encourage everybody to go check out Logic's album, College Park. Number 16 on the list is going to Billy Woods and Kenny Segal with their album, Maps. Billy Woods is getting his second feature on my top 30 list. And yeah, man, I just love Billy Woods' rapping ability on here. I think he's one of the best rappers in his ability to just say the craziest shit possible, something that you just don't expect. I love his rap style, how he kind of just disregards the beat and kind of does his own thing. And Kenny Segal kind of paints that imagery around him so well. They've proven to make great music in the past, and they're doing it again on here. Another win for abstract industrial hip hop in 2023 with this album. Number 15 on the list is going to Ice Cold Bishop with Generational Curse. Man, this album blew me away. Honestly, I wish I could have gave it more listens. But man, whenever I do turn this thing on, I just remind myself at how much talent this guy has, and how much like he's just a mix of like Kendrick and YG and like all of the other great West Coast rappers, but he just has this griminess to him that I fucking love. I love his decision to go for more of a classic G-Funk era inspired instrumentals on here, because it really just accentuates his voice. It gives a lot of energy to these tracks, and even when he goes with the more modern joints like the cut from Kenny Beats on here, it just goes over so well. The guy has some great storytelling about his upcoming. And I think if you like the likes of like Denzel Curry, I think Ice Cold Bishop is right up your alley. It's similar energy, vibrancy, and even his voice is just something that you have to fucking listen to. The production on here is amazing, and I think they just did a great job overall. Shout out to Ice Cold Bishop on Generational Curse. Definitely check that joint out. Number 14 on the list gave me all the fucking vibes that I needed this year. Kaytranada and Amine teaming up to be Katra Amine. I mean, look, Kaytranada, one of my favorite producers. I don't think he has a miss. Amine, one of the best rappers out here, very underrated, putting out some of the best music. Put them together, unexpected, but man, does it fucking work. I think there's a lot of party vibes on here, a lot of confidence, and I think all in all, it just makes you want to dance. And Amine's still spitting on here though. It's not all just party vibes. He's definitely giving out some bars, some funny lines here and there. It's just a really fun album to listen to. I think the album cover kind of tells it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's that vibe. It's literally that vibe. Whatever fucking color is on this album cover, that's what this album sounds like. But yeah, man, you love Kaytranada, you love Amine. I don't think you can go wrong here. Katra Amine, fire. Number 13 on the list, we are going with 38 Spesh and Conway the Machine with their collab album, Special Machinery. This album is gritty as a fucking rat covered in sewage in a bodega eating a chopped cheese. I'm sorry if that's very stereotypical, but fuck it, man. Look, I love everything about this album. 38 Spesh on the production here, and he fucking kills it. Conway the Machine, 38 Spesh, two of some of the best rappers, just pure rappers in the game right now, going back and forth throughout this whole thing. It's like a boom bap fucking dream, man. Like there's so much to love about this joint. It's just good bars, good beats from front to back. No misses. It's not trying to be anything. It's not. It's got great features on it as well. Lloyd Banks, El Camino, Benny the Butcher. You got fucking Pharoah Monch, Shay Noir on here as well. It's just great gangster rap. Number 12, we got Black Milk with his album Everybody Good. This album was a slight surprise to me. I've always been a fan of Black Milk and his production, as he is most known as a producer. And the Detroit rapper, producer, has been putting out great music for years. I encourage everybody to go and listen to No Poison, No Paradise, as that's one of my favorite albums. But on here, he kind of goes for a more funky, groovy vibe, plays with a lot of melodies, and kind of creates this funky energy around every song on here. But it came out so refined and polished, and I just love the energy on here. Some great features as well, from Quelle Chris to Kareem Riggins, Mick Jenkins, Fonte, and even Raphael Sadiq. I think it just proves that producer rappers kind of put out such great quality music, as they kind of just know what energy they're going for. And I think Black Milk fucking killed it on here. I would love to see this thing played live with some live instrumentation. And I think, yeah, everybody should check this one out. Everybody Good, Black Milk. Number 11 on the list, we're going with Mike with his album Burning Desire. This one came unexpectedly to me. I wasn't expecting Mike to drop another album, especially after just dropping the collab tape with Mike Wiki and The Alchemist. But no, he definitely dropped some heat. Burning Desire, it sounds like Mike's most motivated and confident record, especially in the way that he delivers his verses on here. It sounds like he's taking even more risk with his sound, kind of just being more free, it sounds like. And I just love that energy for him. Of course, this thing is loaded up with chopped up samples, but I think the sample choices on here just give this album such an energy to it. For example, like the song Zap with those sputtering keys and trumpets, or like the warping strings on Please Don't Cut My Wings featuring Earl Sweatshirt, where Mike and Earl kind of just go into this melancholic, drawn out flow. And the title track on here is just fucking groovy, man. And one thing you can always count on Mike for is just giving you some pure emotion and poetry within his rhymes. So many quotables on here that you can kind of just live with, and I just love how he chooses to display his emotions. So yeah, man, check out Mike, Burning Desire, definitely one of the best drops. Number 10 on the list. Yes, we've cracked the top 10. We in there now, and we're going with Odyssey, PG County, Stand the Fuck Up, his new album To What End. Man, there's a lot of things to love about this album for me. Number one, I love the production on here. I love the live instrumentation on here. A lot of these tracks kind of sound like a live jam session. And I love Odyssey's just rapping ability. All of it, from the flows that he chooses. He's able to weave in and out of the beat at a pretty fast pace. All while he's doing that, he's dropping so many gems with topics that can directly relate to the everyday person like you and me. And I think that just allows so much to desire for this album. I think it shares some of the same qualities as the Black Milk Everybody Good album, as Odyssey is a producer rapper, so he kind of knows what energy he wants to bring on every track. But I think he frankly just brought in an amazing set of tracks here. It's definitely underrated in my opinion, and he always delivers. One of my most listened to albums of this year has to go to Earl Sweatshirt and The Alchemist with their album Vor Dire. I still don't know if I'm fucking saying that right, but fuck it, the music fucking slaps. Earl and Alchemist are a proven duo that can do no wrong at this point. You're combining Earl Sweatshirt's low monotone delivery with the Alchemist's ability to kind of just match that tone of voice with his supreme sample selection. And I think this album definitely just hit that chord for me. But what I love about this album the most is the lyrical ability. Earl just effortlessly laces bars about the things that are going on in his life, how he chooses to live his life, But I think this album displays a more carefree aura that we get from Earl on here, as he's kind of just vibing out. The bars that kind of come to him on this one steadily display a certain theme on here. And it's just a good collection of tracks. I love the instrumentals on here, the features from Vince Staples as well. And Earl just proves that he's a step above lyrically. I think he's one of the best rappers in the game. And I think that his stylistic choices and I think his choice to switch up his style, kind of become a little bit more niche, has been going over very well, in my opinion. And I think his fan base knows what they want from him. And I'm one of those. And he gave that to us with Vor Dyer, or whatever the fuck you call this album. Number 8 on the list, I'm going with Mike, Wiki, and The Alchemist with Faith on a Rock. I love this album for a lot of the same reasons that I love Vor Dyer. The Alchemist, he's just proving that he can display a certain emotion or a certain feeling with not just a beat, but an atmosphere to match what these rappers are talking about and what they want the song to feel like. And I think it's an underrated talent. He's not just a producer. He's painting pictures for real. And it just ups my appreciation for Mike and Wiki and their ability to kind of give you those emotive verses. And while I think Mike sets the tone here as he kind of acts more of like the bass, I think Wiki is more like the guitar, as his vocal delivery and his flow choices are a little bit more sporadic. But both of these guys just prove to be amazing poets on the track. I love how some of these tracks sound so sneaky and devious, like Thug Anthem. What I love about this album is that it can kind of just slow you down and allow you to kind of just sit back and enjoy the music. The instrumental on Mayor's A Cop kind of just like stops the world for a second and makes you breathe in, you know what I'm saying? A lot of these beats are slow and airy and atmospheric, and Mike and Wiki kind of just paint inside of the little weaves in this beat. Faith is a Rock is a great album, man. It's a super solid album. I loved every second of it, and I think you guys should definitely give it a listen. Number 7 on the list is going to Navy Blue with his album Ways of Knowing. Navy Blue kind of blew me away on this one. I've grown to have a strong appreciation for his music and his ability to kind of display his emotions on the track and to be so transparent. But he kind of steps it up a level on here. And I think he sort of matches the production with the emotions he's displaying on a lot of these tracks. There's so many different stages that this album has, and so many different feelings that it displays. Like there's tracks where it feels a little bit more inspirational, like The One, or Life's Terms with Zero. I love the way that he's able to display his feelings on To Fall in Love, the way he's able to reflect on himself on the track Windows to the Soul. I love the soulfulness of that instrumental as well with that soul sample. The story about his sobriety on Look in My Eyes is awe-inspiring as well. I think this album just tells so much about Navy Blue. Listening to this album, you won't come out of it not knowing who Navy Blue is or what he's been through. And I think he's able to display who he is and how he deals with this life perfectly throughout this album. Number 6, we are going with Larry June and The Alchemist. The Alchemist, he's here again. He's what, like, this is the 3rd time in the top 10. We're going with The Great Escape, man. This album right here, I think most of this might have been the soundtrack to the first half of 2023 for me. It's just so playable. The vibes are amazing on here. It's very lush, very lavish. Just a great energy to have on to start your day, throughout the day, going through the night. Like, it's a great album. The production on here is probably like some of the most lavish and expensive beats that The Alchemist has ever done on here. I think he has some of his best beats on here. And Larry June is being Larry June. He's being laid back. He's talking about numbers and getting to the money and making smoothies. It's not trying too hard, but at the same time, it's doing just enough. And another thing that makes this album so great is the fucking features on here. Solid Plan with Action Bronson, Big Sean on Palisades, California, Boldy James on Art Talk, and even more on here. He's even got Slum Village. Where did you go get Slum Village from to get on the track? Yeah, man, it's great. There's not a bad song on here. It's just such a playable album. Yeah, I think the Alchemist really killed it on production here. Larry June matched those vibes perfectly. I think this matched both of their aesthetics together. It just created a fucking bomb of cool shit. Number 5 on the list is going to Paris, Texas with Mid Air. This album was one of the biggest surprises for me, as I wasn't really on the lookout for Paris, Texas. Wasn't too familiar with their music beforehand. Maybe gave it a couple listens. Didn't really connect with anything. But this album right here, this shit fire. I think a lot of people got hip to this because Tyler, the Creator, had posted it on his story and just kind of like praised the album. And yeah, it's deserving of all its praise. I love the raw, rugged energy that both of these guys give on every track here. The production is varied, draws inspiration from rock and various eras of hip hop. Specifically, this whole thing kind of just makes me go to like NERD meets like Brockhampton and kind of just smashed together. I think there's something for everybody on here. If you want to fucking smash your head in, you can turn on New Whip or Panic. But there's still some great personal lyrics on here, like on the song D&D with Kenny Mason. But for the most time, this thing is rocking the fuck out. This is like throwing chairs in a high school cafeteria. That's what this album feels like to me, and I fucking love it. I love it driving down the highway. Makes you want to drive faster. It's just evoking a lot of feelings of rebellion and just high intensity. Number 4 on the list, I'm gonna go with the Chicago rapper Mick Jenkins with The Patience. Yeah, look at this fucking album cover. This album cover is what this album is. He's about to explode. Yeah, man. This album covers all of the hip hop checks for me. Mick Jenkins is one of my favorite rappers. I've been a fan since The Waters, and I kind of just grew up with his music. And I think that he's hit on all cylinders every step of the way. But this album, he's sounding his hungriest as he's gotten out of a certain situation with his previous label, allowing him a lot more freedom, but also having to kind of like retrace his steps and wanting to get back some of that recognition that he feels like he deserves on here. And I feel like he probably fucking got it the way he's talking. He starts out the album just going bar for bar, never letting up, Michelin star. And it's a very short album as well. It's only 27 minutes, not even clocking in at half an hour, but you're getting a lot of fucking bang for your buck here. You're getting great features from top-notch artists like Freddie Gibbs, Benny the Butcher, J.I.D., Vic Mensa. But the thing is, these are great rappers, right? But Mick Jenkins is meeting the level of intensity and meeting them with his own bars. Lyrically, he's not to be fucking played with. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I do a lot of standing up for Mick, and this album helped me out a lot. Tracks like 007 or Roy G. Biv kind of just prove his lyrical prowess. I even love tracks like Guapanese, and he's completely going off on the track Pasta. Yeah, man, just give this thing a listen. I promise it won't even take up much of your time, but it's gonna let you know who they are. Shout out Mick Jenkins. Number 2 on the list is going to Very Deserved. It was hard to give number 2 just because of the importance of the things that she's talking about on here and how much I resonate with them and how much I think that we need to be talking about them. But if we're just talking about how much I enjoyed the album, it had to come number 2, but that's no slight to it. No Name with her album Sundial. No Name has gone through a lot as far as like her presence in social media, as she is one of the more known activists and leaders for social injustice as far as rappers go. So that kind of just puts a lot of eyes on her opinions and the things she says. But as she's received a lot of flack for things that she said in the past, she's kind of just like retraced her steps and decided to kind of just say, fuck it, I don't care. And it kind of just shows throughout the music. On here, she sounds as refined as she ever has. There's so much confidence in her bars here, with every single verse packing so many just chunks of shit that you can just walk away from and look up and figure out what she's talking about in here. I love the premise behind the track Beauty Supply, where she talks about toxic beauty standards within the black community. I love the ballsiness that she has on Namesake, where she decides to call out these huge name artists and even uncovering some of the things that the NFL is doing that I didn't even fucking know about. And her delivery just gets even more scolding on tracks like Toxic, where she talks about a previous relationship that went obviously bad. Her lyricism and her subject matter isn't the only thing to be praised on here. The backdrop to it all, the instrumentals on here are beautiful. They're lush. It's jazz rap. I love it, especially like on Balloons. And even the features on here, although there aren't many, they do pack a heavy punch. The vocals from Ayani on both of her appearances on here are great. And especially the verses from Silk Money and Billy Woods, they fucking killed it. And even Common on here is rapping like it's fucking 1994 or some shit. This is a very strong album. Strong in its subject matter, strong in her stance on the subject matter. But at the same time, it's an easy listen. No Name makes it feel effortless, how she kind of just flows throughout these tracks. If you're just casually listening to it, you'll be like, whoa, she's saying some deep shit, but this shit kind of go hard. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a great pairing, you know, impactfulness and also just great instrumentation. And number one on the top 30 hip hop albums of 2023 list from yours truly, Soletrack's. We're going with the hoes. Scaring the Hoes, JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown. Honestly, this album came out, March of this year. I haven't been able to turn it off. It doesn't get old for me because this album is just so fresh. Every time I listen to it, I pick up something new in the production or something that they said where I'm just like, what the fuck? How the fuck did they come up with that? Or even like some way the vocals are mixed. This album is messy. It's insane. It's not to be something that's normal or expected. Yeah, it's trying a lot of new things. I just love everything about this album. I love the in-your-faceness of tracks like Lean Beef Patty. I could probably drink some horse tranquilizer listening to Perfect. JPEG Mafia takes his production to another level on here in ways that I didn't even know he could make more obscure or abstract or just unexpectedly brashing. And of course, the perfect person to partner with is Danny Brown, who sounds like a fucking supervillain throughout this whole thing. And JPEG Mafia pretty much pairs that with his super punctual flows and a lot of energy. And both of these guys are just like battling to say the most crazy shit they can. There's just so much personality throughout this whole thing. There's so much little details that I catch every time I listen to it, as far as like the production or whether it's something that JPEG said or a little ad lib that Danny Brown put in there. And even the title tracks on here are just fucking crazy. I mean, Fentanyl Tester, Shut Your Bitch Ass Up. There's a track called Shut Your Bitch Ass Up. Jack Harlow Combo Meal, or Where You Get Your Coke From. That's a legit question as the last track on here. I mean, like, what do you expect from a song called Jack Harlow Combo Meal? You don't know. And that's what I love about this album so much. I didn't know what to expect, but everything I got was exactly what I needed from it. And that's why I choose Scaring the Hoes as my number one hip-hop album of 2023. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you made it throughout the whole video, all 30 of my picks, drop a comment in the comment section and tell me I made it. And if you guys could do me a favor and share this video, like this video, and the most important of all, please, 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 subscribe. Again, thank you for watching. This has been Soletrack's, the top 30 hip-hop albums of 2023. Be safe, be easy, and love more.